and Happy New Year. We are officially in 2022 and I'm really excited for my first video of the year to be a collective energy reading from Archangel Metatron. Today I'm going to be using Amanda Ellis's Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle deck to pull some cards that are going to represent the themes and lessons and areas of focus for us as a collective moving into 2022. So covering the whole year of 2022, what is it that we need to be aware of, focusing on, and what are some of the lessons that we will be learning throughout the year. If you're not familiar with Metatron, he's a great guide to call on for many different reasons. Number one, he oversees a lot of the angelic realm. He's had an earthly incarnation, so he's lived as a human at one point in time, so he does, more than some of the other angels, understand what it means to be human, and he really does serve as a bridge that connects us as humans to the angelic realm. So he's one of my favorite guides. I call on him a lot. He's kind of a master of all trades, so there's many different ways he can help us, and he's really knowledgeable with the awakening process and the different aspects and layers to self that we are currently integrating as we are moving forward in our ascension process. Okay, so I've already pulled the cards before I came on here, and as I was shuffling, about 5 cards, actually 6 cards, flew out of the deck. The 5 of them landed upright and one of them was face down. So I was told that the ones that are upright, in no necessarily sequential order, were the main themes presenting in 2022, and those are the cards that I'm going to be going over, and then the last card that was flipped down was going to be the clarifying card. So I'm going to first start with the first card that came up, and that is, believe it or not, the number 1 card. So it's actually the first card of the whole deck. There are let me see how many cards are in here total. There are 55 cards in this Metatron deck total. I do like to use this deck a lot for when I give clients readings that are like a year in review type of readings, or what to expect in the next 6 months or coming up. I often refer to his deck a lot for doing things like that. So I wanted to do something like that with the collective. And yeah, so let's get started with the first card. It is yellow and it says joy and happiness. So I'm going to tune in now and see what message this has for us when it comes to 2022. So of course he's just highlighting joy and happiness with this card, peace of mind, coming into alignment with our higher selves, coming into our power of knowing who we are and expressing that with joy and gratitude, he's saying. He's highlighting the sun, the yellow, the color yellow, as a representation of the frequency that we are striving to be on. And he's also saying and supported by, so he's highlighting this yellow as also the representing the color of light, being the light worker aspect and the lighter aspect of ourselves. So he's really wanting us to draw forward the lighter aspects of self. He's saying that this needs to be our topmost priority moving into the year, and that is why this card is number 1 in his deck, he's saying, and that is why this card is number 1 in this reading. It is of utmost importance that whatever we're doing, we're living from a place of joy, happiness, an expectation of abundance. He's showing the bee that's in this card as being living in that on that frequency. It's just worker. It's working for the whole, for the good of the whole, and it's enjoying its duty and its responsibility, and to life, to procreation. He's saying, so he's really wanting us to let go of anything that's keeping us from living our joy and our highest potential. And he's highlighting laughter, love, moments of freeness, moments of liberation that are going to really bring that lighter aspect forward, that childlike aspect, that playful aspect, going outdoors into nature, brings that side of us up and out. And just, he's saying exposed. He's wanting that side of us to be exposed. So when it comes to the collective, this is just an important message for all of us to learn to live our joy and spread our joy forward. Okay, so the next card that came up was card number 45. It is endings, and you are held is the message of the card. So I'm going to tune in and see what he would like to share about that. He's highlighting endings and new beginnings, shifts and changes. Go with the flow. So the water in this picture, the element of water he's highlighting, is all about flow. It's all about going with the current rather than trying to buck the current or get caught up in energy that is stagnant or is restricting your movement or your flow, your natural flow. He's highlighting, where do you want to go? Look ahead. Don't look behind. He's saying, look where you want to go. Look where you want to take the next step. He's showing an image as if when you're walking on a trail, or when you're walking in general, you're not walking forward and looking back. You're looking where you're going. So this is really important. And he wants you to also kind of look and see, where is the river going? So learn how to feel your way through life. Feel the flow. Feel where the current is kind of nudging you to go. That's our intuition. He's saying, allow your heart to speak and allow your heart to lead, and know that you will be held every step of the way. So that is really the other piece to this message, is knowing that we are held and we are supported by the angelic realms, by the realms unseen and beyond, and knowing that our true path will unfold as we are ready to take the next step. So he's also highlighting not to rush the process, that many of us want to know the outcome before we're actually in the position to choose that step. He's saying, allow your, be with your feelings, be with your emotions, allow your emotions to freely flow, and allow your emotions to show you the way. So if there's restricting feelings of restriction, if there's sadness, if there's heavier, denser emotions and feelings that need to come up and out, allow them to do so, so that you can then free yourself and expand beyond the fear and the sadness, to then move into a higher state of consciousness and awareness and freedom to move unrestrictedly where you want to go. So the message here is about knowing that we are supported and allowing ourselves to experience the emotions that want to be released without attaching so much of our identity to those emotions, but knowing that when we release those emotions, we will now be freer to move in the direction of our choosing. But to stay within the divine flow of love is really the key, moving forward here, and remembering that with every ending is a new beginning. So a lot of us, he's showing, get kind of attached to a certain aspect of our identity, and now he's kind of referring to the collective. There is this energy happening in the collective, and it's happening like on a consistent cyclical level. There's a lot of changes and shifts and changes happening where old paradigms are falling and new beliefs are coming and rising to the surface. And we as a collective are attempting to rise up to reach that higher vibration of light and understanding and awareness that we are wanting to achieve through living our lives according to a higher laws of nature and higher states of consciousness. So he's showing that when we allow ourselves to just go with the flow and shed what needs to be shed, we're helping the collective to do that at the same time, because that's essentially the process the collective is going to be going through for quite some time. And there's going to be some bumpy parts of the ride for many. But if we are staying in the divine flow of love and we are allowing and releasing and allowing and releasing and accepting the changes that want to come and not dwelling too much on the past, then we will be in a good position to feel balanced and centered and joyful and in alignment, and in a position also to help others raise their frequency to match that as well as we move forward into 2022. And the third card that came out is card number 3, another interesting synchronicity. So it is the creation card, and the message on the card is expansion in your life. So I'm going to tune into Metatron for the message there. So he's just highlighting expanding to greater heights, expanding your vision. He's showing like looking beyond the horizon, expanding your vision for your life and what you want to create. So this is a creation card. So it's limitless. It's the I think this is the flower of life being shown here in this picture, and it's just all about planting seeds, planting ideas, growing these ideas into blossoming higher potentials. So always being able to see a more expanded view is an important component. So not getting too, he's showing like not getting too stuck in the narratives of your time, of your historical time. Not getting too stuck in narratives that other people are writing for you, but learning how to create your own narrative, create your own expression of who you are and how the world is. So essentially, we are writing the storylines and the timelines for future generations to come. In every moment, in any given moment, in any present moment, that is what we're doing with our thoughts, beliefs, and the stories we tell ourselves. So he's saying, even when you pass information on to each other, are you giving too much attention to what the news is saying, what is being reflected back to you through the media as to what your world is, what is manifesting in your world in reality? Or are you looking beyond that and looking towards what you actually want to create? So there's, he's saying there's a gap between what is actually happening in the present and what you are actually seeing in your physical reality to what is wanting to manifest from a higher perspective, from a higher spiritual perspective. It does take time. Essentially, seeds of manifestation, he's saying, start with the spiritual, the higher. It's like a top-down effect. So what you're thinking about, what you're visualizing, what your intentions are creating in your mind and your energy is what is going to eventually manifest into the physical, but there's a little bit of a gap of time. So this is where the collective is at. The collective is in the proactive state of creation and integration, and essentially we are moving from a separated or kind of compartmentalized view of things, that we are all separate, we are all individuals on our own path, separate. Our actions and words and deeds are separate from each other and don't impact the whole, towards a more holistic and integrated view of ourselves and our multidimensional selves as well. So even aspects of ourselves that are unseen or So the sense is like, you know, maybe our the parts of ourselves or that are beyond time and space, that maybe be galactic in nature, or the starseed aspect to ourselves, like all of these aspects are seeking integration, and it's a process. So it's just learning to see an expanded view of life and how we are all interconnected versus separated. So that is really, he's highlighting a major theme, especially for light workers, because this is a continuous process and of dying to the old and birthing the new. So it's just there's so many aspects to it. It's hard to put it all into like one concise conceptual understanding, but essentially it's just it's very layered, and it's a process of creation. So evolution and creating new starts from our ideas and moves into our field. As we collect these understandings and clarities, then we can actually put those into fruition, into action through our actions and our intentions and what we set our focus on. So it's really important for us to focus on creating what we want to manifest, the type of world we want to create. So creating that in our own mini world, our own mini environment is, it's like micro to the macro. It will eventually start to mirror itself in the macro, and more people will then begin to spread this creative power and come into alignment with where the collective energy is headed. Okay, and so the fourth card is card number 8, and it is the leadership card. And the message here is answer the call. And I'm not surprised this one came up, mainly because this has already been portrayed as an important theme from Joan of Arc in one of my previous messages that energy updates I gave by her for December of 2021. But she was also talking about the theme of 2022 being speaking your truth and standing your ground and standing up for your human rights. So all of these kind of come together. So I'm going to ask Metatron to elaborate on that one. And he's saying, answer the call of your heart. And he's highlighting warriors, standing up as warriors of light. So really taking that leadership role. He's saying he cannot stress this enough, why it is important that we are actually living our truth, that we are not hiding in the shadows anymore. Those days are over. He's saying even if you want to be in the shadows, the light is going to shine on you because you're just that bright. You've gotten that bright now as light workers. He's talking about us as a group, that you can't hide in the shadows anymore. There is no more shadows for you to hide in. And he's showing also like cockroaches scurrying into the corners of dark rooms. He's saying those days are over. You are being asked to stand front and center in the light and to shine it proudly. And he's showing like a Care Bear would, almost like shining your light and just, spreading that love outwards. He says there's enough of you now that you are a group. You are very connected energetically, telepathically, in the physical sense and in the spiritual sense, that there is nothing to fear. There is no fear. You are completely supported. He's kind of referring back to the you are held card that came up earlier. You are completely supported. You are grounded. You are anchored. You are steady in the light. Mother Earth has you. You've got this. There's nothing to fear. So I really feel like that is the main message in this card. There is nothing to fear. Answer the call. You know what you're being called to do. You know what you're being asked to do. It's not necessarily something so grandiose and big, but it's just standing your truth. So standing in your truth and owning your truth. And that happens first. He's showing on an individual level, you have to own your truth, and you have to then be willing to share your truth. To truly be authentic, you have to learn how to bring these pieces forward that you have been learning how to integrate. So he's showing that a lot of us have spent a lot of the past years, maybe 5, 10, I'm not sure how long, really picking up all of the lost pieces of ourselves through shadow work, through healing work, and learning how to integrate these pieces into a more unified presentation, an authentic presentation of who we are individually and as sovereign beings. He's saying now is a chance to shine your sovereignty, to show your sovereignty, to really stand in the light, I'm sorry. Out of the shadows. So just breaking any barriers towards speaking your truth is really going to be a very, very important theme and lesson for those of us who are resistant to do that. So we're going to be pushed and we're going to be put into situations and opportunities that are going to cause us to have to make a choice in the moment. Are we going to speak up for ourselves, or are we going to sit back and just kind of like play a more passive role, or just stay in our comfort zone? So he's saying just a major theme for 2022, especially for light workers. And the fifth card is number 43, healing, and the message is pause to receive. So Metatron, what would you like to say about that? So he's emphasizing healing as being an important part of this journey. And I feel like he's not really saying healing of us anymore. He's referring to healing of others. There's going to be a journey of healing for those who have not been on this path as we have. We have already achieved a sense of understanding of what it means to heal and integrate, but others are just starting on this journey. So he's really highlighting, number one, hold space for those. Understand that it is not easy to let go of these fears, to break through, to shed these layers if you are not conscious and aware of what's happening. So this is why more of us need to be speaking our truth and sharing our light with others, especially those who we know that are close to us, that are going through difficult times. It's going to be really important for us to speak to them and share openly with them what is going on, so to help them, to support them, to help them through their healing journey, because many, he's showing like droves of people are going to be starting this healing journey, really getting into it more deeply this year, 2022. And so expressing our truth and helping those is really part of our greater journey as light workers, and one of the reasons that we came. And then he's kind of emphasizing pause to receive. So pause to receive love and guidance. So from those in your community, so for those of us who might still have a lot of healing work to go through, or might have those ups and downs, or those moments of low, or just confusion or frustration, it's important for us to pause to receive as well. So don't always be, trying to show others and guide others and support others, but you need to take time for yourself as well. So self-care is really important. Taking time for your own spiritual practices, meditations, rituals, anything that helps to keep you aligned and anchored and grounded to the energy of Mother Earth is really going to support this healing process for the collective. So anchoring in that light through our own spiritual practices is really important. And he's highlighting like setting our intentions to receive, setting our intentions to support Mother Earth in this process, and making a point to say these out loud and practice our I am affirmations. All of that, all of these things are going to help us stay in alignment, so we are available when someone close to us needs help, and so that we're also not drained energetically by being like on the front line so much, because that in and of itself can be draining. So really it's just taking a step back and knowing when you are to give, you are to be the receiver versus the giver. So that's really an important theme for us as a collective to understand, but mostly as light workers too, who are trying to, help others as much as we can and support others. We also need to remember to do that for ourselves. Okay, so some really powerful and beautiful messages and themes presenting themselves in 2022. The last card that came up that was flipped upside down, that is the clarifier card. And for clarification, that card is number 6. It is the love card, and the message on the card is relationships and harmony. So Metatron, would you like to share your message with us about this card? And he's just saying love. It's all about love. Loving yourself, loving your neighbor, loving humanity, loving earth, loving nature, coming into alignment, speaking your truth, speaking your love, sharing your love, growing your love. Really, that's all we are doing as a community. We are growing our love. We are fine-tuning ourselves to hold higher frequencies of love and light. We are spreading our hands out to help others, to lift others up, to bring joy into the world and peace of mind, going back to the first card that we talked about, which was joy and abundance. So love is really he's showing the frequency of abundance. Love is true abundance. So when you have love in your heart is full of love. It's overflowing. It's overflowing into everything. It's overflowing into your energy field. And everything your energy field touches is touched by this love. And honestly, it serves as a protective barrier. He's showing also of any lower frequencies that might be around you or that your field might come into contact with in the outside world. Love is a protective force and a barrier to lower vibrational energies even being able to touch you, because it's not a match. It's not an energetic match. The frequency is out of alignment with that of love. So only love can bring in more love. Only joy can bring in more joy, etc., etc. So just remember the power of love, he's saying. And the song by Huey Lewis and the News is coming to mind. That was from the original Back to the Future movie, which was my favorite song when I think I was like 4 or 5. So I love that song still. It's a great message, the power of love. Definitely tune into love. Always tune into love, he's saying. And he's saying that will get you through. That is what is going to be your guiding light, your focus, your connection to source, your connection to your power is the frequency of love. So he's saying, always remember that you are love. You already are love. Just be the love. Feel the love. Allow yourself to receive the love and experience the love and the joy that is all around you and within you. It is within your ability to create this, to manifest this, and to align with this. So I'm really happy that I took the time to pull these cards today, because I'm feeling really uplifted by the messages that came through. It does feel like these messages, he's speaking to the lightworker community mostly, but I do see how these messages can relate to the collective as well, and how it's important for us to know where we need to be at to support the process and the process of those who are maybe just beginning to awake or who have not awakened yet, or just what lies ahead. These are the important lessons, messages, and themes that we're going to need to really pay attention to, be aware of, and focus on for that higher learning and higher growth as we go through 2022. So I hope you enjoyed that message today, and please check out my channel for more energy updates, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and please do hit the notification bell so you can be notified when more content is released. I do plan to be releasing at least 2 to 3 videos a week here moving into the future, so please do subscribe and feel free to share this channel with those who may be new to the process of awakening, new to mediumship, or just wanting to understand more what the Ascension process is and how to tune into their guides. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed year of 2022. We'll see you next time. Bye.